It had its ebbs and flows like to the game, and obviously like both us and New Zealand with like a new group and coming in and trying to implement like a style of play and get the chemistry. But I thought for like the most part consistently at the defensive end of the floor was where we were like most solid, and that's something that we want to hang our hat on. I think for us having a new system and a new style is going to just take time to build that out and how we want to play in Sandy's system, but also building the chemistry with like a new group that's playing for the first time together. So I would say like solid win. It's really like an evaluation for us to be able to evaluate now the style of play, but also be able to evaluate the players that fit into the style of play and how we continue to evolve that and build that out.
Fantastic. Miela, your thoughts?
I think, it was a pretty solid first hit out. Kind of like Goz touched on, we hadn't played together, so it was a good test out. And I think you could kind of see as the game went on, our chemistry kind of grew. We started to know where people cut, what people do. So, I think it was a great hit out, and a shout out to the guards. I think they did a great job of attacking, drawing to, and then finding their open plays.
Cool. I'll open up to questions. Goriss?
Yeah, Corey, I'm really surprised by how well the team gelled so early on, because clearly how little opportunity you've had. And I'm really curious about your perspective on how the team reacted to the way New Zealand came back in the third and really closed up the gap.
Yeah, I think we remained calm like throughout. I don't think it was like panic stations and like hitting. I think that we missed a lot of like easy baskets like underneath the rim, and we missed a lot of like open threes. So we were getting the kind of shots that we wanted to get. We were getting feet in the paint. We were making the right decisions. They to their credit, they made a hell of a lot of like threes. I think they made like 30 points out of their whatever they had, like 70 were from the three. So that put a bit of pressure back on like our individual defense and our team defense. But I don't think like we panicked at any time. It was like, we've just got to stay the course and keep getting the right shots. And I think that's where we found a group that the chemistry kind of had, early in that fourth and like late in the fourth, just kind of like roll with that group and have trust because that chemistry was there at the end.
Miela, it looked like it was pretty physical out there. What was it like?
Yeah, it definitely was. Madge kind of touched on it before, like FIBA refs, they kind of let it go a bit more. So, it was good, honestly. I think it's a great way to play. You're allowed to get up and in on defense, and that's exactly what, we were doing, which was awesome. So, it was fun to play physical.
Great.
I thought the skipper led the zone defensively as well, with her hands in the lanes and the on-ball stuff as well. She was really good.
Yeah, I would as I said, like in the locker room afterwards, Steph definitely, but I thought also Rochi and Miela also led the way. Steph definitely right from like the very start, and that was what challenge we set to her right from the very get-go was like, get up and be a dog defensively and don't let them like just bring up the ball. But I think that along with that, we had a few other dogs defensively that really made it hard, especially I think in the first, we went away a little bit like in the second and like the third, but when we saw the pressure that we really applied up the floor and in the half court, we turned them over like a lot and got through that. So that's got to be like leading from our guards, and we'll obviously continue to evolve defensively where we can make some adjustments for the next game as well.
Were you surprised with the way New Zealand rotated out of their lineup today? Because they obviously had some players that actually didn't play the first half, and then we saw like Tegan Grant come on the floor and really have an impact for New Zealand in the second half. Were you anticipating that at all?
To be honest, I had no idea what they were going to do. Other than getting some like data and some film on individual players, probably kind of like us. We haven't seen New Zealand like in a long time. It's a different group for like them too. And quite honestly, we went in with the mindset of we just need to control what we can control and worry about ourselves. And that was like something that obviously we can scout now a little bit like further, but I guess, to be honest, I wasn't like too worried about their stuff. I was like more so worried about how we were executing at the offensive end and how our defensive like systems and play, where we could get some chemistry and build that.
And there were aspects of tonight's game where obviously it was clear players had played together, so they knew each other's game. Did you utilise that in terms of the game plan tonight?
Most definitely. Most definitely. To get the win, yes. And as I said, it's just trial and error, I guess, with like this group. And as Miela said, we haven't played a lot of time together to see what combinations like will work. But we went with a combination, even like us as coaches discussed before the game. We think this might be the combination if we need just to steady the ship and like settle into the game. That might be it. And I think we were pretty like spot on with the lineup that we had back out at the back end of like the game that really just like got us over. And I think it was like, what, a 27-13 last quarter.
I mean, the debutants were really impressive tonight, including yourself, and we can see as well you've had a really great last 12 months, particularly, you know, playing 3x3 for Australia as well, and that showed up in the game tonight different times, a couple of big offensive rebounds and some outside three-point shots that, even though you were contested, they were still going in. So, I mean, that 3x3 experience, talk to us a little bit about how much that last 12 months has helped you get to this point where you are now.
Yeah, I say it quite often, but I think 3x3 is kind of like the stripped down version of basketball. It's can you be defender, and then can you defend your defender? So yeah, I think definitely translate definitely helps. Obviously, yeah, different size weight ball, so that sometimes maybe impacts a little bit. But yeah, I think it really helps with like aggression. But yeah, super happy to be playing both. Yeah.
I am actually going on from your 3x3 experience. You literally have just come. Did you fly directly from China to Adelaide?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
great game tonight. How
thank you.
are you feeling? And you've still got, you know, you've got travel. You've got 2 more games to go. Yeah, how are you going? How are you feeling?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. Yes, coming back from China, definitely felt like I got hit by a bus, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, got naps in, had our training session, and then, yeah, game day, you just kind of got to rock up right, and wouldn't want it any other way. So yeah, really excited to keep traveling and playing basketball. Yeah.
Amazing.
Just one last one, Goriss.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at how easily they were going for the three, considering how young the team is and how inexperienced they are?
Yeah, like we did some scouting like on some of the players and some of their like stats through college, through one player who played in Germany in the Bundesliga, is like that they shot the three at a good percentage. And so we were well aware of some of them that would, you know, one in particular that took a lot of shots in college and in pros. But I was like, yeah, to be honest, I wasn't so sure like they were going to let it fly as much as like they did. But to be honest, like when you're making threes and they shot like at a pretty decent clip at 35% and made 10 of them, you're probably like going to keep shooting like open shots. And so that's an adjustment we got to make, but they definitely did, shoot the ball very well. Yeah.
Great.
Feel good? Cool. Call it.
Thank you.